There is one thing that professional golfers do way better than most recreational golfers: weight shift. We're going to talk about that today with Dr. Tyler Stanford. So I'm here today with Dr. Tyler Stanford, a doctor of biomechanics at Utah Valley University. So you've done a lot of studies recently in terms of creating speed in the golf swing. There's one key thing that I see you do over and over with force plates. Let's talk about that today.
Yeah, so I'm really lucky, Dwayne, that I get to play with the very best technology in my labs at Utah Valley University and get golfers actually on force plates, looking at things like how are they shifting weight. And I think one of the places where I'm seeing golfers really improve their club head speed is their ability to shift that weight to that lead leg, not only how much they're putting into that lead leg, but when they're doing it in the golf swing.
A lot of recreational golfers that we work with here at Alta, we see a very common pattern, which you're kind of putting that highest force on the lead leg right at the point of impact. And I think your data shows that that's not the best way to do it.
Yeah, for sure, right? So we call it the kinetic sequence, which is basically when are these golfers moving force to that lead leg. And what they need to do in order to get that proper sequencing through the body is they need to get that force going to that lead leg very early on in the downswing. Typically, we want to see that happen when that lead arm is parallel on the downswing.
All right, so let's kind of walk me through this here. You're giving me an evaluation, right? So what is very typical is I just bring my arms and my weight together into the ball.
Yep, perfect. Okay. They've got no separation between lower body and upper body. Everything's just, hey, cool, let's just sync everything up together and just deliver this nice club head to the ball through impact.
And that's slow.
It's really slow. In fact, I had a golfer come into my lab that was doing that. They were sequencing everything up together just like that. And when I could get them putting that force to that lead leg earlier in the swing here during that kind of lead arm parallel, we actually got their club head speed to improve by almost 15 miles per hour.
So the model that we see that's pretty common is move the arm rotation with the hip rotation, the weight shift, arm rotation, all in sync, right?
You got it.
And that's not what we want to do.
Not for generating club head speed. You know, I saw Justin Thomas do it in a tournament. Recently, Hideki Matsuyama did it in a tournament where you actually watch them and they get this incredible load like they're doing a jump. And then as they start moving force forward really quickly, what happens? That front foot leaves the ground as they just are generating so much force through that impact.
Okay, so let's think about this. If the lead foot has left the ground, there's no force.
Yeah, no force.
So the force happened way before.
Way before.
Before.
We always actually say, as I'm teaching my students in biomechanics, force precedes motion. And that's the benefit of me being able to look at these things on force plates, is instead of just looking at the motion of the golfer and saying, oh, that moved up, that must mean his force is up. No, exactly the way you said it. What that means is prior to that movement, he had a huge amount of force going up. He made that happen at lead arm parallel. Okay. So this swing that we're looking at right here, this is a swing of a really great golfer, a plus handicap, really incredible club head speeds. And so what we can look right here, if we kind of scrub through and look at when does that vertical force peak, right? So if you look right here and we take it to that peaking point, let's go back a little bit. This is exactly what we want to see.
So
right?
This is Nathan, one of our instructors here at Alta View Golf. And this is why he's a great golfer.
Yeah, and I think we got him up to about 139 miles per hour with his driver. That was a standard length driver, right? I mean, this guy is using the ground so well. And so a few things to point out. First off is you can just see that on that lead leg, he's 120% of his body weight. So he's kind of in that 1.2-ish range. We want to see it at least in that range. And the timing of it is so good. Look at that lead arm parallel right as he's getting to that vertical force.
So let's scroll this back here. Look at his shift. Right. Look at the lateral shift. You can see the center of mass shift multiple inches towards the left ankle.
Well, and what's really cool on this, Dwayne, actually, if you watch that, see the feed in the top left-hand corner, that yellow ball right there, that is his actual center of mass that we're looking at right there. So that's actually his pressure trace that we're looking at. So if you watch what happens, he's really shifting that forward, like you said, a few inches forward as he's doing that movement, as he's getting to that lead arm.
And it catches on more on the ball of the foot.
Yep, exactly. You can see the blue there. So where does he send that force? Well, he doesn't send it to the heel. You see that blue force go up to the ball of the foot, which is exactly where you want it initially, right? And then, as we pointed out, it'll start to drop back a little bit. You look at that lead foot, what is it doing? You can see that turn and that kind of opening kind of come up off the ground that we see in really good players who are producing a lot of force.
So the pressure moves progressively from the ball of the foot to the heel, which is the rotation that you get there, and the lead toe. If we go through the swing sequence, you see the lead toe gets pulled off the ground because the pressure is moved towards the ankle and the heel. Right?
You got it. Yep, perfect. So again, this is our ideal, right? This is what we're really trying to create to generate the very most club head speed we can.
So before the arms are firing at the ball, so this is, I would characterize this is the transition of the arms going clockwise to counterclockwise. It's the end of their shallowing motion. Basically right at the end of the shallowing motion of the arms, right there, the trunk has moved laterally, the weight has moved disproportionately to the left ball of the lead foot, right, to the left foot for the right-handed golfer, and right here his left leg now really exerts a big force that helps with the rotation, and now the arms can now go counterclockwise, sweeping through the impact zone. Right?
Exactly, and you can see, you mentioned kind of the disproportionate kind of forces. You can actually see in the blue there, we've got 78% of his force right now is on that lead leg, 20% is on the trail, right?
Okay.
So,
and let's scroll through the end of the swing here. You can just see what Nathan used when he teaches is this term corridor for his arms. There's just this nice open corridor that the arms can rotate around the body to the left, and see how the wrist angles at impact are maintained. You got the right wrist extension, and the arms are just rotate left. Just following the force of the feet and the hips. And now here at the end, you can see where that pressure on the right foot has gone to the right big toe, and it's gone towards the left heel, which is indicative of rotating counterclockwise.
You got it. Perfect. I mean, this is just a perfect swing, right? A perfect swing in terms of timing this force, how to use it, where to send it, when to send it, and then you see the results. Or, I forget what he carried this thing, but he's carrying 9 irons, 200 yards easily.